Hey Steve, how you doing?
Good, thanks. You guys doing all right?
Doing well. How was your break?
It was good. We talking about last week with our finals and that. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Some of the guys were done obviously pretty early in the week. Some of them had finals all the way up till the end of the week, but gave us a nice stretch of practice opportunities with a few days off built in there. So I think we made some good progress. Had a couple long practices. Had a lot of film sessions. We've got plenty of areas we're trying to improve in, and I think we've taken a good step the last few days.
How's the COVID testing and contact tracing going with you guys these last few weeks?
It's been good. It's obviously ramped up since we started playing games. Feels like we're testing every other day, which basically we are. It's all mapped out. Sports medicine staff's done a great job with that. Getting here early on those days, which is a great way to start the day. Get in at 6 o'clock and get a COVID test and get to work. So it's been good.
What's your schedule and plan for this week?
Yeah, so we practiced yesterday. We took Saturday off, just the way it timed up moving forward. We took Saturday off, practiced, had a good practice yesterday, little longer than we intended. Got out there and felt like we needed to hang in certain segments a little longer than we anticipated. But good practice yesterday, another good one today, had a long film session, good practice. Then tomorrow morning we'll practice before we head to the airport, which is good. It's a long day of travel. It's hard to get to Corvallis from here. So we'll get our practice in before we hit the road. Then when we get to Corvallis, we can just have a meal and watch film tomorrow night.
Steve, have you guys had any COVID positives in the last couple weeks, or has it been completely clean 100%?
We've been all negative for quite some time.
If you have one, like I'm just interested procedurally, if there's one guy who tests positive, does that necessarily contact trace everybody out, or is it possible to keep going through that?
We haven't talked about that in so long. I've just been trying not to even think about it. I mean, I know Josh has things in place. Sports medicine has them in place. We continue to just beg our guys to isolate and wear their masks. Our guys are doing a pretty good job. They're still wearing them in practice. Just trying to do the best we can to protect ourselves. And then if we get a positive, which obviously it's happening all across the country, then we got to figure out how we deal with it at that point. And we'll just lean on Josh Modica and our sports medicine department.
Is this trip coming up now significantly different because of the protocols, or would you handle it a lot differently in a normal year?
Is it different than our other trips, or?
No, well, like just compared to if you were going to Oregon State last year, how you would handle that turnaround compared to how you have to handle it this season?
No, other than just the extra testing, timing up those tests so that we can handle our own protocols. The Pac-12's got some different things. We signed some forms today. Obviously, they're extremely strict with their protocols. But, no, otherwise, it's the same travel plan I would have liked to have had in place. Practice first and then travel. In fact, it's an early game on Wednesday. Again, that doesn't have a whole lot to do with COVID, but it's kind of a sidebar to it. We play real early on Wednesday, so if we're going to shoot, we're going to be up early, heading to the gym for a shoot around, which is a little earlier than I would have liked. But again, just those type of travel days, if we can avoid traveling all day and then practicing on the back end of it. But no, nothing otherwise.
Was there any conversations about not having this game just because of the risks of traveling during the pandemic? Was there any doubt surrounding it at any point?
No. I mean, I reached out to their coach, 4 or 5 weeks ago, just when a lot of things were getting shuffled and shut down, and just I had read some things that Portland and Portland State had been shut down, and so I didn't know if that was going to affect Oregon and Oregon State or anybody else up there. So I called him, and at that point he felt good about it, and so we just kept monitoring it. And as long as we kept seeing them play games, we felt good about it. I talked to Terry Porter, is the coach from Portland, and ironically, he reached out to me, as did Dana Altman from Oregon, when they saw we were coming out there to play. They've had both those schools have lost games along the way, and they want to know if we had openings on our schedule. But Portland and Portland State, I know, missed a lot of days of practice because of the mandates. I don't know who that was, if it was health officials or who it was out there, but they missed a lot of days of practice. I know that. But no, we're just trying to stay in contact with them. At this point, we feel good about the chance to tip it up again.
It was interesting to see since we last talked, Coach K over at Duke, they called off their remaining non-conference games. But it sounds like just with how clean the testing has been for you guys and just how you're handling things that you're comfortable going forward. Did you have any, thoughts about whether non-conference play is worth it or whether it might be better to look ahead?
Oh, I wouldn't have been surprised, at any minute if someone hadn't stepped up and said, all right, we're not going to play non-conference games. Obviously, we're all following very closely the Keontae Johnson situation, kid from Florida. That may or may not have some impact on decisions as we move forward. A very, very concerning situation there, and we're all thinking about that young man and praying for him. But Coach K had, I believe, is one of the coaches early on that was saying that we shouldn't start until January. So there was a lot of that conversation going on early in the season that we should cancel non-conference games or we should just push everything back. So we were just trying to stay ready to play. We're trying to practice and be ready. We were trying to stay healthy and get some games in. And we're also ready to pivot if we need to at any point.
So how about on the court? Have you been able to use this time to identify certain things that maybe didn't live up to expectations the first few games or to address any specific areas? What have you targeted? Yeah,
we're not where we want to be, not where we need to be if we're going to win a lot of ball games. We recognize that. That's okay. If we were playing at a high level, we'd still be trying to get better. Told our guys that. It doesn't really matter where we're at right now. We got to get better today. But yeah, we just feel like, again, we can take some steps on the defensive end. I think our guys are continuing to make progress there. But we also, as we've tried to crank things up and play with more intensity, more effort, challenge them, have harder segments in practice, we also need to pump our guys up on the offensive end. If you go down the list right now, we don't have too many guys that we feel like have played anywhere near the level that they can on the offensive end. There's a couple of exceptions. Eric Zumbell's playing very, very well, shooting at a high level. Lockie Bofinger, a freshman, he's been fantastic. But we got a lot of other guys that are capable of doing a lot more offensively, and so we got to pump them up with confidence. We got to defend harder. We got to play with better effort. We got to rebound more physically, and we got to play with a lot of confidence on the offensive end.
Are there any big changes that have gone along with that or like different ways of doing things, or is it just kind of drilling stuff the same way you have been since you started practice?
Not major adjustments. We don't feel like we're that far off, and our sample size is making it kind of difficult. Obviously, we felt like we played poorly at UTRGV, played poorly at Oklahoma, and then our other two games, the two home games, might not have been a true indicator of where we need to be. So that sample size is going to grow. Oregon State's Power 5 program. We need to go up there and give ourselves another opportunity to win a ball game against Power 5. I think our guys are prepared to do that. I think they're excited about it. But we're still trying to figure some things out. I've got to do a better job of helping some of our new guys. Again, we feel like Eric Parrish and Cedric Alley in particular are guys that have a much higher ceiling than they've been showing us to this point. Got to help them get more comfortable in the offense, help them find their spots without pressing, because Eric Parrish, his natural response is going to be to force the issue a little bit. You just got to kind of let it come. Cedric Alley has given us some really good things defensively, but we know he can provide some more offense for us as well. So we're still searching a little bit in that regard.
Jerry, we ended practice a little early, but if you got any questions, fire away for Coach.
Oh, yeah. Coach, just want to kind of check in with you. You may have, and I'm sorry if you may have covered this previously, but so I wanted to ask you how you evaluate your point guard play to to this point in the pre-conference? I know you've had some different looks out there. How's it? How are you doing with your point guard play right now in your mind?
We've got a lot of concerns at this point. A lot of things we're trying to figure out. Our point guard play hasn't been a real high on that list of concerns. You know, we feel really good about 3 or 4 different guys out there, and I thought Javon in our last home game had as many pitch ahead opportunities as we've had in any single game. He does a great job of looking ahead. He's handling the ball a lot for us right now. Zumbell's not a creating point guard. You know, not looking to search or probe a whole lot, but he's doing a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball, and he's shooting at a very, very high rate right now. I think he's 8 for 12 from the 3, and one of those was one where we handcuffed him and made him shoot it at the shot clock expiring. So otherwise, he's 11 from the 3-point line. So he's doing a great job all across the board. Again, maybe not in your traditional creative point guard role, but he's doing fine. And then Keaton's been playing some point as well. So each one of those guys gives us a little bit something different. We want to involve Javon in a lot of middle ball screens here in this next ball game. Again, he does probably the best job of anybody on our roster in terms of pitching the ball ahead. On the half court, regardless of whether he's the point or the off, Keaton's getting good penetration. He's getting down into the paint. So those 3 guys are going to be fine.
Do you think Ivy Curry has some potential at the 1? At some point in his career, how do you see him in his role as he moves forward in his game?
Well, he does. He's a playmaker for sure. You know, he can score it and make simple plays. I think I've been most excited about him on the offensive end is just the fact that his instincts are so good. He comes off a pin down or a curl. You know, he just makes a quick read, a quick decision. He can pull up and shoot it. He can get to the rim, or 1 or 2 dribbles and dish it. And you know, when you've got more than one player out there on the court that can do those kind of things, it really helps your offense. And right now, he's not playing any point guard for us, but he can score and facilitate like a scoring guard would, maybe a little more traditional combo guard, if you will. We haven't had him initiate the offense any, but he's a good decision maker. And again, the fact that he doesn't over dribble the ball surprised me, simply because for a guy to average 38 points a game in high school, you'd think he'd be a ball stopper, an over dribbler, and he's not that at all. I've been very pleased with his quick decision making.
Okay.
Defensively,
that's all I had.
When you posed the question, I don't know if you're talking more offensively. Defensively, Juice, you know, and when he checks in, Jordan can get up and give us a little bit of ball pressure. We talked to him about impacting the game with his energy, and on the offensive end, sprint to the corner, getting some attack. But on the defensive end, we've had some games where we've been very passive. We've been backing up. Somebody can go up there and engage the ball handler, and I think Juice could be a guy that give us a little burst of energy with some ball pressure on the defensive end as a point guard.
So you really get something kind of different out of every one of those guys that's played there, right?
Yeah, we do. And again, we've talked a lot. Javon and Keaton right now are trying so hard to help our other guys get involved, to help us get more scoring, and they're struggling a little bit with the when to defer and when to take over. You know, and we all know. Everyone on this call knows. Everyone in our locker room knows. All of our fans know that we cannot be a 2-man show. We need somebody else to step up. But there are still times when those 2 guys need to go and be special. You know, go out there and be the best backcourt, one of the best backcourts in the country. And they're capable of doing that. They're capable of taking over stretches. And so we got to find that balance for them. And I like the fact that they're being unselfish, but there are times when those 2 need to just take over during stretches of games as well.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, along some of those lines, you still working with through the rotation in your mind of what, you know, which guys, and I know it's been a small sample size, but is that something still work in progress?
It is for sure. We feel so good about so many of our frontline guys, in addition to our guards. You know, we've had Adrian Rodriguez is battling a little injury right now, so that may take care of some of it here for the next couple of days. But we started Phoenix in the game the other day because he's earned it, because he's such a good defender. Again, talk about our guards having each guard being a little bit different than the other. But each one of our big guys brings something different to the table. Obviously, Luka with his skill level and shot making, Jacob with his potential and the talent and the rim rolling and the agility and that. Phoenix with his toughness and rebounding. Adrian with his playmaking, his leadership. So we feel good about all those guys. That hasn't really shaken itself out like it will at some point. Lockie Bowfinger is probably the guy that's getting shortchanged a little bit in minutes, and yet deserves to be out there. I mean, he's just relentless in practice. Love what he's bringing. He's just one of those everyday guys, every drill guy, every rep guy. He's a handful in practice just with his toughness and his energy, and we need that. So we're going to keep throwing him in there for different stretches. I love what he brings to the table. The players like playing with him. He's a tough guy. So, yeah, we're playing a lot of guys right now, and it hasn't quite shaken itself out.
Anything else for Steve? Thank you guys for joining us a little bit earlier today. I'll send the recording out so you get the whole thing.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.